Well, hello, everybody. This is I Said What I Said, and welcome to my new channel that I just launched. I am very excited about it. And I've been saying that I was gonna, I wanted to do a channel, but I didn't want to do a channel. So welcome. This is just like a test run for me because everybody have to do a test run when they start YouTube. And this is just really a test to see how it's gonna go and really to see how I'm gonna fare out. And it looked like I have a guest in the building. Welcome, Shan. Thank you for showing up. And I do have somebody on the panel with me. Hi, Yvonne. How are you doing tonight? And thank you for coming in, sis. I do appreciate your support.
Hey, I said what I said. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, Lady T Bug. I see she came in the building. Y'all gonna make me cry. Now I'm having some of my friends in the building, so I sure appreciate that. I really do.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. And this is going to be, like I said, this is actually a test, but I do have some stories that I want to talk about tonight. I'm so used to doing the morning show and really now the after dark show with the other channel that I work with, and so I'm kind of familiar with StreamYard, and it's not going to be hard for me to really catch on. One thing that I don't know how to do right now, and that's shorts and pre-records, but I'm going to learn as I go because I love learning. And I just actually learned StreamYard probably within the last 3 or 4 months. Well, about the
Mhm.
last 3 or 4 months, I kind of caught on to StreamYard. And this channel is going to be about politics. It's going to be about celebrity tea, and it's also going to be about true crime because I like to watch true crime also. And it's a lot of crime going on these days. A lot of crime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
right
way
about
too
that.
much. Yeah, we just had a tragedy today at the school. And one thing that I didn't create, so let me just create a quick banner, guys. Bear with me one moment because I
Take your time.
didn't get the copyright banner. So I definitely need to do that. But I can just put a quick note in here and because I know some of it. I know a little bit of the banner, but I haven't paid any attention to it. And so I'll download the Copyright Act of 1974 so that my videos won't get struck. Um, let me
Hmm.
just let me just put a quick note. Um, let me just put a quick note in here if I can spell
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I said what I
Oh,
said. While
yeah.
you're doing that, that picture, your picture of that couch and that microphone is on point.
You
I
like
really
it?
like that. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, just sit down and have a cozy conversation, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's what this is going to be about.
Hmm.
It's all about having a cozy conversation, and hopefully I can have people join me on the panel as I do other people panel. And that's not no shade to you, Lady T, but in the future, hopefully if I can build my audience up, I want everybody to be able to come on board and give their opinion. And the groups that I'm in, we got some strong women with some strong opinions. And that's the purpose for that. Have another banner. I'm gonna see how this goes, and if it goes the way that I like it, then I may, subscribe to StreamYard. But it looked like 16 by 9 size. I don't know what that means, Lady T Bug. Let's see. You add it to the one you have. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll work on that. We'll
Hmm.
work on whatever you're talking about. Yeah. And but basically what I was saying is StreamYard did have a sale, and it looked like I missed the sale because I went back in there today and I was kind of acting like I was gonna purchase StreamYard, and it looked like it went
Hmm.
back up to full price versus last week. But I'm pretty sure that they have sales periodically, and
Hmm.
maybe one of them. And but I'm definitely gonna have to wait till I build the audience up before I do that. And that's probably going, I don't know how long that's going to take me, but I don't want to pay for something and it's just me,
Right.
utilizing. Yeah, I want to wait till I can
Right.
build up my audience and and really see if this page is going to work for everybody, because just because people know you and just because you start a page, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a huge audience. And so it's going to have to be worth, the time before I, invest, in that, because at this point, StreamYard look like it's like 34.95 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
so, yeah, and so I think that's a lot of money to be investing for, for just a few people that I have in the chat. But I am grateful for you guys. Trust me, I'm putting my hands together like I'm praying. So I am so grateful. Yeah, I am
Yeah,
for you.
you
Like,
ain't
Queen
have to worry about
said.
that. I said what I said. You're gonna do just fine. You're gonna have people coming in here in droves. You watch and see. And it's not gonna even take that long. It's not gonna
Well,
take long at all.
yeah, but you may think that, Yvonne, but yeah, it
Yeah.
still it takes time though. Trust me, it's not something that you can just do real easily, you know, because people are gonna have to be, gonna have to be interested in your content, and so that's why I created this page, because I want to have the freedom to talk about what I want to talk about. And there's a lot of things that goes on, around the YouTube streets that I never really get to discuss, because this, the other channel that I'm a part of, it's all about really more about politics. And so I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of, I'm a little restricted in what I can talk about, what I can't talk about. So if I come and do my own page, then I can talk about what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Shan said she's
Absolutely.
been waiting on it. And really truly, guys, I really wasn't planning on getting the page, but how the turn of life happen, things happen. And so, and I'm like, well, I still want to talk about this stuff. So here I am, and I'm ready to talk about it. And you see, I got three subjects: um true crime, celebrity, and politics, because that's basically what goes around on YouTube. But basically, I want to
Mm-hmm.
get into this story because I feel like it's a tragedy, and it's a shame that you can't just send your kids to school these days and expect them to come back home. The same way that you sent them to school, meaning i.e. Intact, without having any without having any tragedies at school or getting shot. And so I did find a picture of this girl. She is and all of this is allegedly, so let me put my banner up. Okay, I have it up. I did find a content creator, and he found her social media page. His name is JR Investigate, and I didn't upload the page because, number one, I can't upload pictures right now because I'm very limited in StreamYard, which I really didn't want to put her picture out there until we get until the news verify who she is and the police verify who she is. I really didn't want to run her picture across my screen anyway, because we need to get confirmation that that's who she is. But the police
Mm-hmm.
department did say, they did, Madison, Wisconsin Police Department did specify that it was a 17-year-old female. Let me say that one more time: 17-year-old female. And from the
Mm.
picture that I received, that I was able to find, apparently she's a Caucasian female, and so she unalived herself. She unalived a teacher and another student, and then you have about 4 or 5 other students that was hurt in the mix also. And so I just think it's a shame that these kids cannot go to school, and come back home in one piece and just do, just really have a regular kid's life and just live life like we did. When we were going to school, we lived life all fancy free, and the things that we was thinking about at
Mm-hmm.
17 was, how I'm gonna get out my mama's house and how I'm gonna get, you really kind of planning your life at 17. You can't wait to leave your mom's house, right? Because she got all those rules and
Mm.
regulations that you don't want to go by. I know that's how it was for me. I couldn't wait to leave the house. Matter of factly, by the time I was 17, child, I already had me a husband. That's how fast I was. And I wish
Right,
I could turn
right.
back the hands of of time. Right. I wish I could turn back the hands of time, but I can't. But, that's how grown I was at 17. But even, by me being married, that's fine. But, it's other kids that's not married and they're just trying to get ready to find out what college they're going to go to. They're thinking about graduation and really about, what they're going to do later on in their life and what career choice that they want to take. And so
Right.
now this kid life have been cut short. So this kid that she unalive would not only would not that kid be able to go to college or do anything else because that kid is not here anymore. And then think about the other kids that she injured. And so what kind of Christmas are they going to have? And the school that they went to is a private Christian school. Okay. And they're shocked that this happened in their neighborhood. But I don't understand why they're so shocked because you're the ones who's supplying these kids with the weapons. If you're gonna have a firearm in your home and you're gonna have, any other type of weapons, why isn't this stuff locked up? Now, see, they want to have, these politicians want to have their Second Amendment rights, and that's fine for everybody to have a Second Amendment right. But it's a responsible way of having a firearm. You should put it up, and I wholeheartedly hope and pray that they hold these parents accountable. From what the clip that I saw from this guy who got her picture, he said that her father had a picture on social media with him and her practicing at the range and just practice shooting in different places. Okay. And so hopefully he will be held accountable. We can't hold her accountable because she's gone. So maybe they'll go after him because he didn't protect the public, because it's your responsibility to make sure that your child is, that they don't have access to your firearm, because a 17-year-old can't buy a firearm. You have to purchase that for them. And so it's not fair to other students that put their lives in danger. And even if they didn't unalive them, they're still in the hospital at Christmas time. Now, what kind of Christmas are they going to have? And then what kind of Christmas is this the person that you took out? Think about their family. What kind of Christmas are they going to have? They're not going to have Christmas. And let me tell you something. Not only will they be affected this Christmas when you have a tragedy this close to the holidays. So guess what that means? Every time Christmas come around, they're going to be upset. They're going to have to relive this tragedy every year at Christmas time, because this idiot took this gun to school and unalived all of these kids, which is a darn shame. But did you want to say anything about that, Yvonne, before I play the video, or did you want to just speak on the other side of the video? Because I'm getting mad at this point. Okay, so maybe you have me on hold. So guys, stand by one moment, and I'm going to play the video of this tragedy that just happened.
Kendall, we understand the school has been cleared, but families are still being reunited with their students tonight.
Right, Blake. Students, teachers, parents are all traumatized today. I've heard from young students walking out who told me they heard gunfire inside of their school today. Now, this is where all of those reunions have been happening, is this medical clinic. Now, take a look at this video. Young children walking out hand in hand with their parents, the parents sometimes holding their little ones after being reunited following the unthinkable. Now, we heard from one family just reunited less than 15 minutes ago.
Our principal told us it was like a lockdown, and I didn't think much of it, but then it got really serious, and then it was all super sad. And
because they said this is not a drill.
Yeah, and it kind of freaked everybody out. It was sad.
And I see you're missing your coat.
Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, was it urgent? Did you have to run out? How?
Yeah, it was basically just the cops told us to okay, go to the church, everybody go out now, run. It was crazy.
Did you hear anything? Any scary noises?
Yeah, I heard gunshots and screaming, and it was all really scary.
What was that like for you hearing that?
It was really scary, and I was terrified. So were my friends.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing better.
Okay. How long was it until you guys were able to reunite all together?
Probably 5-6 hours.
Mm-hmm. Those hours knowing that your mom was obviously so worried about you, what was that like?
It was scary, but she knew I was fine because I was texting her on my watch. So, yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And Mom, finally getting to your kids and being able to hug them.
Yeah. I mean, there's no better feeling than knowing your kids are safe. I just really, I feel, and my heart goes out to the families that aren't that fortunate right now because we know them and love them.
Kendall, I'm just so touched by the interview there that you had with that family. You can certainly hear the emotion of those students describing the fact that they were hearing gunshots, having to be rushed out of that school there. I'm curious tonight, as you're there at the reunification site, have all parents been reunited with their children that we know of?
Blake, it doesn't appear that way. Even just during when we were listening to that sound, I saw more families walking out here behind me. The Salvation Army truck is still here. There's still police blocking off the roads. And so these reunions are still happening now, several hours after that shooting at the school earlier today.
And you could just hear the emotion in that interview there. Kendall, live for us tonight. Thank you so much, Kendall.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, I want to thank ABC WISN News for that news clip. But yeah, go ahead and
Yeah,
speak, Yvonne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrible. And I know the guy was saying, or you could see the emotions in their face. I didn't see any, honestly, because I think these kids are becoming used to this kind of stuff. Because think about it, back in the day, if that would have happened in the school when we were in school, we would be in tears, like hysterical if somebody comes in the school and starts shooting up the school. These kids were, it just seemed like they were like, oh yeah, I'm okay. And they just didn't seem to show any kind of like sadness. I don't know if you noticed that, but I certainly did. I noticed that,
Well,
and
I
it's like
think
it's
they did.
becoming the norm.
Well, it appeared to me that they still in shock.
You think they're still in shock?
Yeah, I think they're still in
They could
shock
be.
is what I feel like is going on.
Yeah, they could be, and
Mm.
maybe they'll, it'll come out later on because I guess you're probably right about that. But it's just like this stuff is like becoming the norm now. It's like
Yeah.
it's become normalized. Like, okay, you go to school, you might come home. I mean, what is this? And then it has look, if Sandy Hook didn't do it for these gun laws and things like that, then I don't think anything is going to change. If Sandy Hook didn't change it, I don't think, we are going to be able to really depend on any politician or, the government to step in to try to, get some kind of control over this gun stuff. So, it's going to be up to the person that owns the gun to make sure they secure their guns. How did your daughter, the question is, how did she get to the gun? Why does she have access to the gun? Okay, what was going
Exactly.
on in her life where she wanted to go? And it sounds like she targeted the teacher and that one student. So did the parents not know that maybe she was having a beef with the
Yeah.
teacher or the student or something? I mean, did you notice that your child's
Yeah, but just
behavior
because of
changed or
but just because you have a beef with a teacher, it doesn't necessarily mean your kid is going to go take the teacher out. Because keep in mind, teenagers are
Mhm,
crazy anyway. Let's just keep it real. Teenagers' hormones are going up and down, and they're not really fully developed, right? So just because you
mhm,
have a problem with a teacher doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to retaliate in this way. And so the bigger question is, what type of family life did you have? Who raised
mhm,
you? And
mhm,
how did they raise you? It's like, why didn't you learn how to do conflict resolution? Why isn't that taught to you at home? I mean, sometimes you
mhm,
can be in class and learn, maybe try to take more. I don't even know if they have conflict resolution in high school. I know they have it in college, but I'm not sure about high school because my kids haven't been in school in so long. So I just don't know what they're teaching and what they don't teach. But this is a Christian school. So
mhm.
not only are they supposed to be learning their coursework, they're supposed to be learning how to be humble, and I'm pretty sure a little Christianity is mixed in some of those classes, right? If
Right,
it's a Christian
right.
school. Now, I never attended a Christian school, so I don't know what their curriculum is also. But whether it's a Christian school or whether it's just a regular school, come on now. I mean, you definitely have to take your anger out a different way. You got to be able to channel that and be able to process whatever happens to you. You should be able to process things that happen to you in life. So something, something is wrong. Something the
Well,
little girl
yeah, well, back in the
don't
day,
have the proper.
well, when we were in school, yeah, we were taught, I think, those kind of things at home.
Yeah.
So we had a problem with a teacher or a student, our parents, well, at least mine, would request a meeting after school to have with the teacher or the student or whatever. Even when my daughter was in high school, she had gotten into this altercation, with another student, and I immediately got a phone call telling me that you need to come up to the school. We need to have a meeting with you and this other student's parents to to squash this, to get some kind of resolution to what's going on with your daughter and this other student. So I don't know if schools are still doing that. I don't know. And like you said, her home life, like I was saying, like, I mean, what kind of home life did she have? That was a good question. What kind of home life did she have? Did her parents pay attention to her behavior? Did her behavior change? I mean, do you just get up one day and you just make in your mind that you're gonna go to the school and shoot up a bunch of people without your behavior changing leading up to that? You know what I mean? It's like, did they not notice her behavior? I
Yeah,
mean, something
and a
had to
lot of
change in
times
the
too,
home.
but a lot of times too, as teenagers, a lot of times teenagers are isolated, right? And they don't want, a lot of times when you're a teenager, you kind of stay isolated in your room. So in my opinion, the parents wasn't monitoring what she was doing on social media, what was going on in her school. And they, in my opinion, they wasn't monitoring her at all, because if she knew where the firearms were and she felt comfortable enough to take them to school, but also her father took her out to go out shooting, for practice. And so I don't know where it was in her mind that it was okay, to take this firearm to school and unalive another student. Because like you said, back in the day, if we had a problem with a kid or whatever, we went out to the we went about a block away from the school and we handled that business. You put your dukes up and made the best man win through the fight. We didn't fight
Absolutely.
with firearms or whatever. Now that's not to say we didn't pick up sticks and try to knock each other out or what have you, but just had a regular normal fight. And so these kids, I don't know what the problem is with these kids these days, why they can't handle conflict resolution, why they can't take an insult, or why they can't take it
Right.
that everybody don't like them. And
Right. And take
me,
everything so personal.
yeah, everything is so personal, and it's like you can't talk to any kid no more. You can't say anything negative about any kid without them taking it, uh without them getting their parents firearms and taking it that route. And so,
Hmm.
I don't know what the answer is going to be. I don't think these politicians are going to do anything
Mm-mm.
to help the problem at all. So the best thing that I feel like that they could do is go ahead and implement a law and say the parents are, if your kid do something to another kid, because if you're not going to implement laws to ban firearms, then you darn sure can make them responsible. So if your kid go to school and unalive somebody else's kid, in my opinion, yes, the parent need to be charged, especially with the kid taking itself out. And not only will this parent, have this agony and burden of their child unaliving another child, but their child is gone also.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. But
And
they're not
so,
going to pass any laws like that. They're not going to do that. But something needs to be done. These parents need to really, 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 really take responsibility for the behaviors of their children, because you cannot tell me that she didn't express any kind of weird behavior, even at the dinner table or coming to the kitchen to get your dinner or something. she had to express some kind of crazy behavior or whatever. But no, the government is not going to do it. They're certainly not going to do anything about the gun laws. Maybe on a civil level, maybe, but it's too much money wrapped up with the NRA for them to do anything about any gun law.
Well,
They
child,
want
she
their
couldn't have been at my
guns.
mama's house. She couldn't have been at my mama's house because guess what? At my mama's house, baby, you mute your mic even when I speak because I think you have some type of echo. I guess do you have any other apps up? Because a lot of times when you get a call or something, it'll make an echo come up. But child, at my mama's house, you weren't allowed to have no attitude. You wasn't allowed to roll your eyes. You wasn't allowed to stick your lips out. You weren't even allowed to get mad at anybody in the house. Now we could get mad at each other, but we had to keep it, within a certain respect of being even mad with your siblings. But my mama didn't play that. And if you act like you had a problem, yeah, she's gonna call you in her room and she's gonna sit you down and try to find out, what the problem is. And so I wholeheartedly feel like these kids, parents are just not paying any attention to them. They're allowing social media and peer pressure. They're allowing they're allowing the world to raise their kids instead of them raising their kids themselves. And all the technology that we have now, um we have so much technology. You really can put a camera in your kid room just to even see what they're doing and you can monitor their social media, because it's okay for them to be on social media, but why not put a parental guard on it, and why not monitor it? Why not go to the PTA and find out what your kid is doing? And even if you don't have time to go to the PTA, schedule a time with a teacher. I don't know a teacher in America that don't want a parent involved in their kid's life, because guess what? That make that teacher life better. Because if that teacher can get on a respect level with you, and you go up there and you talk to that teacher and you let them know where you stand with your child, because that's what I did with my kids. No, I didn't attend the PTAs, but I did schedule appointments on my days off. Sometimes I would schedule a day off, especially with my son. um I would schedule time off and find out when the teacher had time. And I would schedule a meeting with the teacher just to find out what his little butt was doing, just to find out, why is he making these C's and D's? What is he not doing? What is it that I can do to help him out? And then I would have a conversation with my son. And also, if he didn't have a good enough answer, well, guess what, buddy? You're on punishment. Okay. You're not going outside. You're not going swimming. You're not going to the mall. You're not going to do anything until you bring these grades up. And even we even had to sit him out in football for a minute. And once we sit him down from football, he brought those grades back up, because when they have consequences, then they straighten up for whatever reason. But this little kid could have been depressed for a while, and the parents just said, okay, well, that's just her normal behavior, because she was so, a lot of times kids are depressed. And a lot of times the parents will just say, okay, well, that's just how she acts. She's just shy. Or, she don't want to participate, or we don't bother her. We just let her or him, we just let them stay in their room. Well, that's not how you raise a kid. You the parent,
Right.
you in charge. And even, I was one of those kids that wanted to be in my bedroom. My mom was like, ma'am, no, missy, you part of this family. You bring your butt in this living room and you watch TV with us. You eat with us. We're a family, and we're going to be doing family-ish. Straight up.
Right, right. And getting back to what you said about like um being involved and with your kids in terms of like school and things like that. Well, now it's really no excuse why you can't meet with the teacher, because we are busy, we're working, blah blah blah. But nowadays there's really no excuse to have a face-to-face conversation with a teacher. If you got to do it through Zoom or WhatsApp or something, you got the tools you need to meet with your child's teacher and everything like that. You don't necessarily have to go up there, to the school physically now. So there are other tools that can be used where you can have a face-to-face conversation with your child's teachers. It's called a smartphone. It's called a laptop. It's called a tablet. So it's really no excuse. No excuse at all now. You can just set up a meeting over your phone, laptop, or you know what I mean? You could just set up a Zoom meeting or whatever, just to, get in contact with the teacher and have a face-to-face conversation with them to find out what's going on with the kid if you cannot physically make it up to the school for a meeting.
And you're absolutely right, Yvonne. I didn't even think about that because COVID
Yeah.
did put us in a whole new realm of Zoom calls. And so you're absolutely right. You don't even have to take off work like I had to take off work because they didn't have that when my kids were in school. And that has, you know, my son graduated, should have graduated because he didn't graduate. He just quit school because he didn't want to listen. But that's a whole nother story. But he should have graduated probably like in 2015 or 16. And so you're absolutely right. They didn't prior to COVID, they didn't have where you could do Zoom calls and stuff like that. But you know, I was keeping my granddaughter a couple of years ago, and do you know that I could actually tap into her teacher's classroom? I could tap into the classroom and watch her do her work while she was in the classroom.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I
Technology
didn't
has
realize
changed.
you
I
could
mean, it
do
has
that.
changed a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. You sure can.
yeah,
So,
and
like I
so
said, there's
like
really
you
no
said,
excuse.
there's no excuse other than being lazy and not want to be involved in your kid's life. And you know, one of our chat members said that the last two parents um, have been arrested and charged, and one of them said has been found guilty. And you know, that's when I know one of them was in Georgia. I know that guy was arrested, but I'm not sure what state the other parent was that was arrested for their children committing this type of crime. And it's something fairly new, but if they keep doing this, yeah, because we don't have to wait for Washington to take to take charge. Some of these states can take charge like they're doing. And Georgia, I'm surprised Georgia is a state that's, you know, holding this parent accountable because it's a southern state, and most of the time the southern states, they're the biggest components of my Second Amendment right. You know, you can't take my gun away. I got a right to have one. Oh, okay. She said it's in Michigan. Child, I done did too
Oh, the
much
state of Michigan.
information. Yeah, she said the others were in Michigan. To my remember, we covered it on my channel, girl. You know how many lives we done did since then on your channel and my channel and the other channels, on all these other channels that I've been on. So I'm kind of like an information overload. So I kind of remember what happened today, and tomorrow I might not remember anymore because that's how much information I'm retaining these days. Because like Yvonne say, it's just so much going on. You know, every day is
Hmm.
something different. But yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I think you're talking about well, you can't be talking about Dylan Roof. I don't, because I think he was Dylan Roof. I would have to look it up. I don't want to give out any names because I don't know what the guy name was in Michigan. But like I was saying though, I'm not surprised Michigan implemented that law, but I am very surprised that Georgia held those parents accountable because they'll be a component of the Second Amendment because it is a southern state. But I think what happened was the police that worked in Georgia, he attended that school where that guy, where that kid unalived all those children. And remember, Yvonne, I did a story on that one in Georgia. Do you remember
Girl,
that one? Probably about in the
girl,
summer.
no, I don't.
It's too
I can't
many.
even
I
remember
know.
what I had for lunch today. And then
Yeah.
plus, it's so many. Like you said, it's like information overload. Is so much coming
Yeah.
at you. You can hardly keep the stuff straight anymore. Like, wait a
And
minute, did
also,
that
it's
happen
so
in
many
Michigan? Wait a minute, did
students.
that happen in Georgia? You know?
Yeah, remember that one happened in Georgia. And the title of the video was "Are Thoughts and Prayers Enough?" Because remember, that guy went into school and unalived the kids also, and so they held his father accountable because he bought him the gun for Christmas
Right? Yeah,
or
that
for his
human.
birthday or
Yeah.
something of that nature. But yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
so start holding these parents accountable because the more parents we hold accountable for these different states, then the less this may start happening. And it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But yeah, if they start holding these parents accountable, you can best believe some parents are going to wake up and going to say, okay, well, I want a firearm. And why wouldn't you lock your I don't understand that. Now, I know we knew where my mom firearm was, but we also knew not to touch it. But
We
these
knew we
kids,
knew not to touch it.
yeah, but these kids these days, they act like they don't have no rules and regulations and no laws, and everybody gotta like them. And they kind of like these kids these days is soft, in my opinion. You can't bully them, and I think you need bullying in school because what it does is it makes you tough. I'm serious. It makes you tough, and it makes you when you because at the end of the day, when you get out there in the world is not going to be nice to you, and everybody in the world is not going to like you. Now, I'm not saying bullying to the point where somebody's afraid and you messing with them every day, but I think it's okay every now and again for a kid to get bullied so they can toughen up. Yeah. And go ahead and let them have a fight too, long as ain't no weapons involved, because you got to know how
All
to make it
right.
in this world. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
that's just how I
yeah.
feel about it.
These kids, man, listen, they need to learn how to throw some hands. Learn how to throw some hands if you just gotta take it to that level. Throw some hands like
Yeah.
we used to do. Now they just bringing guns to school. Now it's like
Yeah,
they don't
taking the
even know how to
lazy
throw
way out,
hands no more.
Yvonne. They're taking the lazy way out. Yeah, gonna get beat up a
Mhm.
couple times. Because you can rest assured you get beat up a couple times. Because I used to fight all the time. I did. Lee said I was a bad little girl in school. And it wasn't that I was a bad little girl. I just wasn't scared of nobody. And I fought all boys. And so, but I won some and I lost some. But it also made me, not fearful of anybody. And it helped me in life. It really did. Okay, Ethan Crumbly. Okay, I remember him. He did his last year, a couple years ago, that Ethan Crumbly did. And so
Who was that now? Even Crumbly? Now where
now
was he
now
at?
you
What
in
state was
Michigan. You don't remember Ethan
Michigan?
Crumbly in Michigan? Yeah, it was his mother and his father. They had them in court.
Girl, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Like T-Bell
Wow.
said, don't put your hands on my baby. She not confrontational. But that's the whole thing about it. It's not that you confrontational, Lady T-Bug. I wasn't confrontational in school either, but people, I just, I didn't mess with nobody, but don't mess with me either, because I'm not gonna back down to you. And so that's all I'm saying. You need to harden up and because life ain't soft. And this world is not gonna treat you good. So I'm a component of that. Stop making these kids wusses and make them start, defending themselves. And then, a lot of these parents are telling these kids that they just the best and they the greatest. And, they don't want to tell them nothing about their flaws or nothing. And I remember my mom used to tell us all the time, well, you this and that and the other, but these kids, they act like they got to have, all of this praise, in order for them to feel good about themselves. And so I could be wrong. That's
Oh
just
yeah.
my view of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at social media, how social media has affected just about every human's life in terms of validating one's self. So it's all based on how many likes you get, how many comments you get, and then you feel
Yeah,
good about yourself. So they always want
yeah.
somebody to validate them instead of looking in the mirror yourself and validating yourself. They need
Really,
other
I
people
wish
to
they would
validate
ban
them.
social media. I really wish they would ban social media for kids until they got 18. It need to be like drinking or anything else, or like driver's license or what have you. Just don't even be on it, because all it does is make these kids feel bad about themselves. Like you said, if they don't get enough
Uh-huh.
likes, if they don't get enough traffic on their page, then they feel like is there something wrong with me. Even with the uniforms here in Texas, most of these schools, I believe 100% of these schools, I have to research it, but most schools in Texas, they have uniforms. And the reason why they have those uniforms is so that no other kid, can outdress another kid to make another kid feel bad. Because if all of y'all got the same thing on, then can't nobody say nothing about nobody else. And I think that was a good thing that they
Yeah.
did when they implemented those uniforms. And so I
Yeah.
just think kids have enough to deal with without social media. So, really, social media should be banned to kids until they get 18. That's just my opinion of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
About the
Congress is gonna
uniform,
ban
about
it
the
in
schools
Florida.
and things. Huh?
She said DeSantis is gonna ban it in Florida in January.
Then what?
I guess social media.
How is he going to do that?
He DeSantis, he can do anything, Yvonne.
How is he going to ban social media in Florida? How are you going to ban social media? That means uh, you can get an internet connection anywhere. So how are you going to ban that? You would have to ban the internet. I just don't see how he's going to pull that off. Maybe him and his friend Elania. Oh, up there in Washington got something planned. I don't know. Mm,
Well, Lady T-Bug is saying
that's
that it's
interesting.
already done.
Really? That they
Hmm.
banned social media in the state of Florida
For
for
children.
kids? Yeah, we need to look do some research on that because
Well, she said it's
I
on
feel
her
like
community wall, so I'm gonna go to her community wall when I finish because
okay,
I'm interested in that. 'Cause even if I saw it, I may have forgotten about it because I normally
I'm
look
gonna
and
head
see
over
what
there
the
and see
posts are
too.
around. Yeah,
I
weird.
just don't understand how they would do that because like I said, the internet is everywhere. You can get an internet connection anywhere. So that's interesting. Hmm.
Well, I don't know how the phones are here, but like in Texas, um, and they may have changed it. But when my son was going to school, he couldn't have his phone on him. So while you in school, you're not supposed to have your cell phone. I used to have to go pay $10 to get his cell phone because they would catch him with it, and he wouldn't turn it in into the teacher like he was supposed to, and they would catch him with it. And so then once they caught him with his phone, he had to, I had to go to the office and pay $10 for him to get it. And I got so tired of it, so I just made him start. I really wanted him to use, leave the phone at home. But I did also, a couple times I made him leave it at home, and then I thought about it. Well, it's a safety measure because it's the reason why I gave him a cell phone because I was working and I wanted to make sure that he made it home while I, from home from school. So I just went up to the
Right.
school and let them know I'm not going to pay $10 to get this damn phone back that I don't know that I'm paying a monthly fee on. So you finna you finna unask this phone, and I'm not going to pay you nothing to get it. But I did probably pay about $30 or $40 before I made the decision that I wasn't going to pay him again. And so, they gave it to me or what have you. And I explained the situation. Look, he's a latchkey kid. I work 25 miles away from the house. He has to have his cell phone because I call him every day to make sure he made it home, or he'll text me when he make it home every day. So it was a necessity. Now, yeah, was he using it when he wasn't supposed to? That he could be, but I'm not going to continue to pay y'all just so I can make sure that he's at home safely. And so we worked something out, and I let him know,
Right. And
when he comes to
it's like parents are like in a stuck between a rock and a hard place with these cell phones that the kids are taking to school now. Because just like this shooting in Wisconsin, like one like the little girl said, she was texting her mom to let her mom know that she was all right. So on one hand, it's good for them to have it, so just in case something like this goes down, where kids can reach out to their parents and let them know, well, mom, I'm okay, dad, I'm all right. But then again, you got the cell phone, you in the classroom, and you on you on the
you on the
phone
cell
playing the
phone
game. Listen, my
on
son,
Instagram.
right, wait a minute. My son was telling me a story about he was in the classroom with his buddy. In the classroom with his buddy, and he was on his phone. His buddy was on his phone playing this game called Angry Birds. And so when he was playing the game, he didn't turn the volume down. And so when he
Right.
scored, it just made the sound, and everybody
Yeah, every
like
time
looked at him.
I
So
played
he was
Angry
in there
Birds
playing the
before.
game on his phone.
Yeah, I played Angry Birds before, and when you knock one of the birds down, they make a big old sound. It's like glass is
Yeah,
breaking.
yeah.
Well, I
Oh
don't want to be
wow.
on
So
here
it's
too
like
long.
you're uh
I don't want to be on here too long. So let's turn the corner because I have one more video that I think is interested in, and I think that people should watch. And I want to see what you
okay.
guys think about this, and then we're gonna get off probably about 9:45 because I don't want to. I know you guys have to go to work. I know everybody's not retired like me, and even though y'all have to go to work, I still see y'all on Instagram and TikTok all night, Yvonne and Lady T
Yeah,
Bug.
yeah,
What y'all
yeah,
not
y'all
gonna
be
but what y'all not gonna do is blame I said what I said because y'all up, on social media. So Lady T Bug Yvonne do the same thing. She's supposed to. She got a black
yeah.
job that she
I got a
attends.
black job I gotta go to, but I'll be on TikTok scrolling. It'd be like 12:30 before I know I'll be like, oh my Lord, let me turn my
Yeah,
phone off. Let me just turn
yeah.
it off.
Sometimes I beat Yvonne in the bed, but yeah, she has a black job too, and she's just like you. She just won't go to sleep so she can be fully awake and alert for her black job. And I'm gonna need both of y'all to do better and go to bed so y'all can, go
I
be all y'all
appreciate
can
that.
be. But personally, if it was me, if I was in the workforce now, I would be like the millennials. I would be quietly quitting.
You would quietly quit. Wait a minute, how do you quietly quit?
Oh, you haven't heard the term of
Let me know how I
quietly
can do
quitting?
that.
Yeah, what quietly quitting is, the new millenniums made up of this term called quietly quitting during COVID. And what it is you can't what they're doing is they're not going above and beyond the call of duty to work, right? They're only doing enough work just to keep the job. Because when you're on your job, a lot of times you go do extra stuff, right? Not the new millenniums, they don't do that. Generation Z say they're not doing all that. They're not finna go above and beyond the call of duty. So
They're
they call
not
it
either, trust me.
yeah, it's
Quietly
called
quitting.
quietly quitting. Yeah, quietly quitting. Exactly what they call it. So that's what I would be doing on my job at this point.
Yeah, okay.
But stand by, because I do have another story I want to get to, and then we'll get off in about 15 minutes so y'all can maybe try to get some sleep for y'all black jobs tomorrow.
Hey, y'all.
I appreciate you.
Hey,
Thank
what's up, man? Y'all all right, man?
Tonight on The Edge, it has been a week since we last told you the story of two brothers living on their parents' porch in the cold. Now a major update on this case that's had a lot of people talking. Viewers have been reaching out. They've been asking what happened to those boys.
Well, Detroit police are on the case, but the future of the brothers is still unclear tonight. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joins us live to tell us why and where do things stand right now, Jessica?
Well, most importantly, since our story aired, those boys have been staying with family friends inside, safe and off that porch. Now, when our story aired, it launched a Detroit police investigation, a real deep dive that they've thrown a lot of resources at to figure out what exactly was going on at this home on the east side of Detroit. And they think they found some answers.
Our investigation showed that the parents have really done everything that they can.
A new twist to a story that shook so many. Two brothers, 12 and 15 years old, sleeping, basically living on their parents' porch since last summer on Detroit's east side.
Shoes, blankets, toothbrush. This is the craziest thing I've seen.
We watched as the older boy came home last Monday night, set down his book bag and fluffed his blankets on the porch. Community outrage and a theory the kids were being forced out there as punishment. Our story prompted an in-depth investigation by Detroit Police Child Abuse Unit.
This has been probably one of the biggest challenges in my career.
Commander Rebecca McKay, the head of DPD's major crimes, sat down with us to explain what their investigation found.
They wanted to sleep out there. That's what they told neighbors. That's what they've told anybody who tried to help them.
She says the kids always had access to the home, the bathroom, and food. The older boy apparently has serious behavioral issues, including a juvenile complaint for assault and battery against a family member.
It's not a punishment at all from the parents. The parents, they don't want them on the porch, but they are not going to fight and chance getting into a physical altercation with a 6'5", 220-pound 15-year-old.
Commander McKay says the parents have tried to get their kids in therapy and done everything possible to redirect their paths. Since last week, the kids have been living with family friends as DPD and Children's Protective Services come up with a long-term plan.
We're trying to find any way that we can get them on the right track, and so we're not giving up yet.
Those parents have been cleared of any potential charges. They will not be charged in this situation. However, the 15-year-old son, he does have that pending assault and battery case in juvenile court. Now, Commander McKay, she wanted to stress they even interviewed these boys' teachers and coaches. The 15-year-old, apparently a star basketball player. Both of these boys doing really well in school. And the investigators at DPD, they really want to set them on the right path. And they said they're not giving up. Reporting live in Detroit, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Yeah, and what stands out here really is also the Detroit Police Department really taking an active role in this and trying to mend fences with the family. It's nice to see, I have to say.
Yeah, and it was not an easy case. You got a seasoned commander there saying this is one of the most challenging cases that she's worked on. And I have to say personally, we've been getting messages, emails about these boys. There's a lot of interest, and hopefully, the community railing around them will redirect their paths.
Right, and especially as it gets colder out. Obviously, we'd like them all to be under the same roof. Thanks so much, Jessica.
I'm confused. That's bizarre.
Something ain't clean in the milk. Something ain't clean in the milk. I don't believe that. I don't believe that lie.
That's really bizarre. You want to sleep outside on the porch when you got a home, when you can go inside, especially was that in Detroit, baby, it gets cold.
Yeah, you seen the snow.
That ain't Texas, child. That's Detroit. It snows and all kind of stuff like that. They get our kind of weather, like we get here in Chicago. So I'm not understanding why these kids want to sleep on the porch. I don't.
And
that's
why
bizarre.
don't parents 12 and 15? Why don't you have control over your kids at 12 and 15? Okay, my son was 200 and something pounds when he was 15, but that didn't matter. I go get that broom and knock him out. I don't care. You gonna listen to me. So, and his father is a preacher too. So let's throw that in the mix. The dad is a preacher, and so.
Oh well, yeah. Well, we know.
Yeah. So some of this story is missing, and they're not telling the whole story. Something is going on because you don't want to stay in your parents' house. You don't want to stay in your parents' house, but you're gonna go stay with a relative. You'll go inside of a relative's house. So what's going on in your house where you can't go in there and go get in your own bed? And the parents are saying they doing everything they can and they're not gonna chance of going to jail. That don't even sound like black parents.
Right. That don't even sound right. That is something that's bizarre. Something's going on probably in the household. Because I just don't see no kid wanting to sleep outside on the freaking porch in the cold. Unless it's something else going on inside the house. Did anybody go inside the house, see the condition of the house? Has anybody did that? Did a walkthrough, of the house?
They said CPS was involved. The police department and CPS was involved, and they didn't charge the parents.
So they're gonna say it's a behavior, like the oldest one has a behavior problem, and the parents have tried everything they can to help him, and so he's sleeping on the porch. He don't want to come back inside the house. Yeah.
Well, neither one of them do. Neither one of them want to go back inside the house. And
so something's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. What are y'all doing to these kids where they don't want to come in there?
Right. Something's going on. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. And if he's having behavior problems and they've done everything they can, well, what else can they do? This is so weird. I don't know what to think about that.
Like our chat is saying, he walked home by himself in the dark. Why his parents didn't pick him up? So what's up with that? So even if they don't want to come in the house, why aren't you picking them up, and why are you letting them walk around in the dark where anything could happen to them? But if the father is a preacher, who knows what type of preacher he is? I'm so tired of these preachers. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about them. And
don't get me started on that. I don't want to get started on that. These preachers, ooh, child. I don't know what God they be serving, but yeah, they need to get their stuff together. But this story is really weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like, this is bizarre. Like, my son would never, if I'm not getting along with my son, he ain't finna go and sleep. Although I have threatened to put him out in the garage with a sheet. But he ain't gonna be going outside and sitting on the sleeping on the porch and going in the backyard and sleeping in the backyard, especially in the wintertime. What we gonna do is we gonna sit down and hammer out this issue we having, and we gonna be all breezy cool about it. See, so that's why it's bizarre to me. So it's something else is going on, and I hate to say it, but it's something, kind of like sexual abuse going on. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what mute your mic for me, Vaughn. I don't know what would make a child not want to go in the house other than some type of abuse. Okay. I don't know if it's physical or sexual or mental or but something is not right. Something is not clean in the milk. This is not normal. And I don't understand, even if the parents are not doing anything to these kids, because key word is kid. Why didn't CPS take them? Okay. If you're saying kids,
Yeah, good question.
if you're saying that the parents are not doing anything to them, why didn't y'all take them?
Right. See, right. Why didn't the Child Protective Service take them? Because they're under 18, so they're kids by law. So why didn't they take them and put them in like a what are they like a kid shelter or whatever they
Foster
do?
care. Foster care.
Yeah, foster care. Yeah. So CPS is just saying, oh well, they're just sleeping on the porch. We're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to remove them and put them,
Well, they went to a family member's house. But the whole thing
Yeah.
about it is they went to the family member's house and they're sleeping inside the family member's house. But they don't want to sleep inside their parents' house, and that's weird.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. That doesn't make sense at all. And so Lady T-Bug was also asking, well, where do they eat dinner? So when they were sleeping on this porch, they were allowed to go into the house. I mean, they went into the house to eat dinner and, and shower because the story did say they were, able to go in the house and, use the bathroom or do whatever. So like, what? And then the story also said that the mother didn't want to get into an altercation with the older boy because he was big. He was big. Well, my son is big, but I would knock his damn head off though. So we're not gonna get in no altercation. That's not gonna happen. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. That's a bizarre story. Ain't no telling what's going on with that.
Unless they've dealt with CPS before. See, something may have happened before where they've already been in the system and the parents are like, well, you're not going to send me to jail because you don't want to mind. And my son, he's big. He was big like that. He's like 6 feet now. And he was always the biggest boy in the room or in the class. He was big and healthy. He was at 200 pounds. He was so big when he was in the 9th grade, they put him on varsity football. That's how big and good he was in football. And by the time he got in the 10th or 11th grade, he would start smelling himself. And I would tell him, you need to stay in the house. But, he's going to, he still would go out the house. And, I had my rules. You come home when it get dark. Well, he come marching home at 10 o'clock one night. So I just left him out there. And so I left him out there. He called 911, told people I wouldn't let him in. And the police came, knocked on the door and asked me why wouldn't I let him in. I say, well, because I'm his mother. And I told him to be home at 7 p.m. He come marching his ass in here at 10. And so if he's going to not listen to my rules, then he cannot stay at my house. And they were like, well, you can't put him out. That's putting him out. I said, no, I didn't put him out. He walked out. I said, it's a different story if I would have put him out and threw his clothes out in the front yard. And they was like, well, ma'am, please, they was just like the Detroit police. Well, let me just talk to you, ma'am. Can you please just let him back in and we'll talk to him and let him know that he needs to listen to you or what have you. I say, well, you better talk to him because he's not going to run my house. And I meant that. And I never had that problem out of him again after I did that. Because number one, with the cops coming to the house, cops are intimidating to little black boys. And number two, he saw that I wasn't really playing with him. So we didn't ever have that problem again. He brought his butt home when he was supposed to. And I'm inclined to believe there may be something wrong with the parents also, though. The parents may be missing a screw or two. That's what it seemed like to me. Because if you can't control your kids and you call yourself in the pulpit, they hard on their kids than anybody. The preacher kids are. The preacher more hard on his kids than the regular man is. And so that leads me to believe it may be something wrong with the preacher, or like you said, something going on with this story. And this story is not new. I found this story probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so they had an update of, of what I just showed you right now. But I actually found the first clip. And when they were sleeping on the porch, and you saw at the first beginning of the clip, this black man was trying to help them. He was like, "Well, are y'all hungry? Do y'all need some help?" And they was like, "No, ain't nothing wrong with us. We're gonna just sleep on this porch." And how can you sleep on a whole porch like that? It was snowing.
I don't know. I mean, they had their shoes and their clothes and their blankets, toothbrushes, and what the devil is going on with that? Mm-mm. 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 Something else is going on with that family, child. Something else is going on with that.
Or
Who
either,
knows?
Lady T-Bug say that it sounded like the kids started fighting back. And that could have been what it is. The father male just been too strict. Because sometimes you can't be too strict on your kids. You got to give them a little leeway. And you can't beat them for every little thing. You got to, talk to them sometimes. You can't just punish them all the time. And so I just wanted to bring that story to light. And I wanted you guys to see that story. But I do appreciate you guys coming out. And Yvonne, thank you so much for being on the panel with me. Lady T-Bug, you and I still need to talk because I still have a few things I need to figure out. But whenever you get time, because I got plenty of time, but I know yours is limited. So whenever you get time, I still want to get with you and get a little bit more training under my belt so that I could start putting videos out and shorts out, so that I could try to get my channel in the algorithm and get me an audience over here. But you have to start from somewhere, and I do appreciate you two ladies for joining me, and Shan. She checked in and she subscribed to the channel, and thank you guys for subscribing to my channel.
Okay, no problem. Sure.
Thank you guys. Yeah. And please, Lady T-Bug and Yvonne, please, y'all don't be on Instagram and TikTok all night. Remember, y'all got to buy some Christmas gifts. Y'all got to go to those black jobs tomorrow. So like I said, y'all not going to blame me for it. And Lady T-Bug is an hour away. So it's already almost 11 o'clock where she is. So she should have really been in the bed already. And I do appreciate her making this sacrifice. Not sacrifice, because she would have been up anyway.
I promise I'm gonna go to bed probably about 12.
Oh, okay, about 12. I don't know how you ladies do it, because there's no way I could have did that. No way. When I was working, man, I had to be in bed at 10 o'clock, or else they weren't gonna see me tomorrow, because I have to have a lot of sleep though. I really do. I'm lazy and I don't like getting up early, and I do have to have a lot of sleep. And okay, yeah, we definitely need to do a walkthrough. You should be hollering. But at the end of the day, though, I do appreciate you, ladies, and thank you for joining me tonight. And stick with me through this journey, because it's gonna be one, and I plan on being here. And I don't know when I'll do another one, but it'll be soon. And thank you guys once again, and have a good night, everybody. And this is
All right, I said.
And yeah,
all right,
I said
girlfriend.
what I said, and thank you, Yvonne Moore, for joining me.
All right,
You
girl.
guys
I'll
have a
scream
great
at you
night.
later. All right,
Okay,
you too.
bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.